Well, hello. So it's the middle of July, and it's about 80 degrees out here and about 80% humidity. So it's getting very warm. I guess we're about halfway through the growing season, so I think it's a good time to do an assessment and see how things are going. So my goal was to grow a lot of vegetables, a lot of different varieties in this area close to a saltwater marsh where there's not a huge amount of really good soil, and trying to grow a big variety of vegetables. So what I had planned was to do a lot of um, small beds or plots and some larger ones. And I've actually created, I think, 31 of the larger beds that have root vegetables and lettuces, beans and that kind of thing. And then I have actually about 96 of the smaller beds or hills with things like tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, eggplant, and so on. So just to show what is happening so far, we have some really good produce in the garden, and perhaps the star of the show has to be the beets. So these are a couple of beets that we've been eating out of the garden. They're just really a nice size and nice and tender and sweet. And of course, the beet greens we eat as well. So the beet greens have been really wonderful. So that's the beets. And then other root vegetables we have coming now are carrots. They're small yet. They'll get bigger, and they're pretty closely planted. So as time goes on, they're thinned out. They will get to be a much nicer size. Same thing with the turnips. They're kind of really cute little turnips right now. But they'll grow bigger, and in any case, again, the greens are really wonderful. Also, we have radishes. These couple are a little bit small, but this is, I think this is the fourth bed of radishes. Can continue to plant new beds of radishes because they don't last that long, just a few weeks and they're done. So that's radishes. Now as well, in the garden right now growing are onions and rutabaga, potatoes, Jerusalem artichokes, other root vegetables. Then we have already some really great string beans, yellow ones and green ones. Had these for a couple of weeks now, and they're really nice and fresh and wonderful. We've had other legumes would be peas, but the peas have kind of come and gone. We've already had those and eaten them, and the pea plants are done by now. We will have edamame later. That's still to come. So that's the legumes. Fruiting vegetables, we have cucumbers in large quantities right now. Even though I only have 3 of these cucumber plants, we're having a lot of cucumbers. And then we have some pickling cucumbers. So I think we're going to have very hot weather here the next few days. I think we're going to be indoors making some really yummy pickles. So we have cucumbers. We have summer squash. So a lot of really good yellow summer squash as well as zucchini, and we have that in large quantities. We're just starting to get some peppers. So the peppers are really nice right now, and also just starting to ripen. We have some tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and the tomato plants for some reason grow extremely well here, not very far from the marsh. They seem to like to be wet or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but they've always grown really well here. So this is a regular tomato plant, and I guess it's over 5 feet high. And every year I grow the tomatoes here, and they just grow like crazy. So I've got so many tomatoes. I'm not going to know what to do with them, but I don't know what else to do with this part of the garden. So these tomato plants are just amazing right here. And then later we're going to have other fruiting vegetables like eggplant, especially have a lot of eggplant growing, and then all the squashes. We have a lot of this garden close to the marsh planted in squash. So we have acorn squash, butternut squash, carnival squash, delicata squash, kaboka squash, spaghetti squash, sweet pumpkins. So about 6 or 7 different varieties of squash growing in garden besides the summer squash. So that's going very well. We have a lot of herbs. So just so I can remember them, this is the parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, and marjoram. It's kind of just like the old song goes. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And in addition, we have oregano, peppermint, a lot of basil, and spearmint. Oh, and we have cilantro. So we have 10 or 12 different herbs that we use constantly in our cooking. We do have a little bit of celery this year. It's not really the greatest. But anyway, it's growing out there. First time I've tried celery. It's growing okay. And we have a lot of lettuces, different kinds of green lettuces there. And then actually many other kinds of salad greens, mustard greens, red lettuces, and so on. Many, many different kinds of salad greens to make a nice salad. And also we have a lot of other greens for cooking. So we have Swiss chard and collard greens and kale. So we have a bunch of different greens that go along with the beet greens and turnip greens and so on. So we have all those different vegetables now that we have in the garden, and many more to come. So we're going to have some corn, many more tomatoes, different varieties of tomatoes, including yellow tomatoes, and so on. So things are going really, really well that way. I think everything has gone pretty well under the circumstances according to my goals and my plan.